You're listening to the Major Pod Network, the only place where your favorite toy store, bar, arcade, and arena are all on the same block. Scratch that major itch.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 37 of MC True Long Island Story. I am your host, the internet champion, always ready, Matt Cardona.
I'm also your producer of the show, Smart Mark Sterling, Esquire, and we sort of just got back from Vegas, right? Wearing my Live 10 shirt. You're wearing your Live 10 hat.
That's right. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but we had a great time. We had the live Major Wrestling Figure Podcast 10. Impact Bound for Glory, Impact tapings. We partied in Vegas. It was a crazy time.
Love it. Now, jumping right into it, the Chia Pet episode, we said it was going to be up last week. Well, it is up. 30 minutes of a Q&A with Chia Pet, and it is a treat. It is a treat.
And we learned that Chia Pet means tiny butt in Italian.
And I verified that, and it actually does.
It actually does. That's right.
Check that interview out. It's on multiple feeds, and it's for free. So
it's a free one.
What do you got for follow-up? Anything?
Not much follow-up, really. If at all, really. Nothing.
Well, I got a couple things. Definitely a lot of people reaching out on Twitter with costumes. I
did see a lot of costumes. I did that.
I love that a lot of them were like 10 years ago. So here's my costume 10 years ago. And some of them this year, just like you said. So that's pretty cool. Still going strong. The PPQQ1 says some essential moments from the second year. So he's talking about for the second year that we have to cover. Zach's dad in Miami. The Avengers dress up, episode 59. And Big O is in the PWI 500. Which is
we'll
pretty
do some
great.
Sort of fan poll to see what we should cover. Because I was still trying on these shows, but like I said, I don't want to recap the downfall. That's no fun.
The one thing that I want
the dirt sheets might love the dirt sheets might love it,
right.
But that's not like one thing I wish we would have done with this podcast is like every week had someone kind of transcribe and send the dirt sheets, like not like clickbait stuff, but clickbait stuff so they would pick it up.
Yeah.
But everything we're kind of saying here is like positive. Every once in a while, there's something controversial.
Like Triple H nobody wants throat.
Yeah, nobody wants like positive news. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the second year of the show would be all controversial, which that's not fun. It'd be fun for the dirt sheets, but not fun for me.
Well, we do have to, if I can tease it a little bit, we do have to cover the emails, the YouTube emails that we'll get to at some point.
Yeah.
Now, Harry Flynn, our buddy in the comments, Matt can now say he beat an MMA fighter in 35 seconds because you beat Swagger last week in 35 seconds.
Oh, wow. Look at that. That's impressive.
Deathmatch King, MMA Fighter King, whatever you want. All right, that's all I have for follow-up. Do you want to do the Broski of the Week?
Let's do it.
All right, first, a little word from our sponsors.
The Major Pod Network has a new tag team partner, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Everybody needs some liquid courage to make their own weekly purchases. Scratch that figure itch and scratch that PBR itch.
Get your PBR beer, get your PBR hard coffee, and get your PBR stronger seltzer.
8%? If you're listening to this, you're already a major mark. Now it's time to become a major PBR mark.
Use the hashtag MajorPBR and post your pictures and videos of you major marking out.
Pabst Blue Ribbon and the Major Pod Network, the new tag team champions of the world.
Of the world!
But we're definitely not getting any new figures from Mattel.
The Broski of the Week.
All right, the Broski of the Week. You will win this signed 8x10, which is available on MattCardonaMerch.com. You will get the Broski of the Week headband. Effie likes to be choked with it. It's available on mattcardonamerch.com. And if you're the Broski of the Week, you will get this sticker exclusive to being Broski of the Week. All you got to do is leave a review. And everybody, please leave a review. And screenshot that review. Tweet it to us using the hashtag Broski of the Week. But don't just tweet it. Find the pinned tweet at the top of my Twitter. Quote tweet that and put it in there. Kind of complicated, kind of not. Follow the rules, and you can be Broski of the Week. So the Broski of the Week this week is, let me pull it up on my phone, Ski.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Broski of the Week is at Justin25. In 2011, I was 11 years old, and I met Zack Ryder in Saskatoon. He couldn't have been nicer, and I instantly became a fan for life. Every week, I would get jittery waiting for the new episode of ZTLIS to come out. Trying every week to be Broski of the Week. Fast forward to 2021, and I have the exact same feeling for the MC True Long Island story. This pod is fantastic. The nostalgia it brings back really helps me push through. Matt and Mark are so damn entertaining, and they become a special part of my week. Matt has definitely done his job and has motivated me to take a chance on myself whenever possible. I enjoy Majorland and the Major Wrestling Fair podcast, but if I had to pick one, this is the podcast to listen to. Keep up the great work, guys. WWWYKI. Well, what a review. Justin, you are the Broski of the Week.
You did it. I love the fulfilling the dreams of the 10-year-old kids. It's great.
It's great. I mean, like we said a million times, this is the point of this show, to get people to kind of bet on themselves and take a chance on themselves. Not so much internet clickbait stuff.
Right.
Which,
yeah, sometimes
comes to the territory.
When Triple H slits your throat with a piece of paper. All right. Tweets 10 years ago. Matt Cardona, October 27th. Working on episode 37 of Z True Long Island Story. It'll be late, but it'll be longer. Hope you enjoy. We know what you were working on because there's quite an edited scene that we'll talk about. But yeah, just a little late. I guess. Maybe a day late. October 27th. I don't know what this means. The app Akinator is rocking my world. I don't know what app this is. Was this a paid sponsorship? Do you have any memory of the Akinator?
No clue. Akinator?
Yes.
No idea.
All right. Well, a flash in a pan app. It didn't pan out, I guess. All right, now here's an interesting one. October 23rd, you tweeted this after your match against Dolph Ziggler on the pay-per-view that we'll talk about in a second. Sorry, broskies. Now, you got 820 responses to that. So
it's a lot of responses.
A lot of responses nowadays, never mind in 2011, when Twitter wasn't as big as it is. So a lot of fans consoling you after your defeat on pay-per-view, but everybody, I'm sure, was really excited that you got that opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get right into it. Matches that you had this week. Only a few, but they were big ones. On a house show, the night before the pay-per-view at the American Bank Center in Corpus Christi, Texas, you lost to Cody Rhodes for the IC title. Nice little house show match, probably.
Okay.
And then the next night, United States title, Dolph Ziggler defeats Zack Ryder in 6 minutes and 4 seconds at the WWE Vengeance 2011 pay-per-view at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, USA. We talked a lot about the build-up last week. Anything that you can sort of remember about this match in this pay-per-view? By the way, 8,000 people in attendance. Buy rate was 121,000.
It's kind of a forgettable match. If I recall, the finish is something like Swagger tries to get involved, and I give him a baseball slide, but the one where I do in between the bottom and middle rope, I kind of bounce back up and turn around into a super kick. It was very it wasn't a false finish heavy match. I don't think anybody thought this was the night I was going to win the title. It was still cool to have a pay-per-view match for sure and continue the story, but this wasn't the match. No way.
Yes,
it didn't have that big match feel like the TLC did.
This is probably a softball question, but you knew going into this that you had this 6-minute pay-per-view match because of your YouTube show, right? At least that was part of it.
I mean, everything was moving so fast at this time where it just kind of felt like, all right, well, this is the process. I'm busting my ass. I never kind of put well, this happened because of this or this happened because of this. I was just riding the wave and just trying harder and harder and pushing the envelope more and more And that was the whole goal, was not to have a YouTube show, was to get on TV, be just like, a regular superstar who has pay-per-view matches, on Raw, has merch. So it just felt like part of the process.
Okay.
That wasn't necessarily the big win.
Right, exactly.
I'm not just saying big win like title win, but big win like in my life or career.
Yes. Now,
We weren't there yet.
similar question. I know. So you know that's not it, and you still have more to go.
Yeah.
Are you taking your gear off, thinking, "Damn, awesome," or are you like, "All right, got to shoot the show. Let's
Well,
go."
both.
Yeah.
You definitely got to enjoy the journey, because the journey is the best part.
Okay.
I would say 2011 was definitely my favorite year. Well, maybe until this year, actually, in wrestling, but because of the journey. Because really, I only have that couple cool moments at the end of the year. The rest of the year is the grind. It's the journey. That's the fun part. I mean, it sucks and it's a lot of work, but to me that's fun.
Right. All right. So Vengeance, Wade Barrett defeats Daniel Bryan in 5 minutes. Air Boom defeats Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger. And then Dolph Ziggler, right after that, defeats you in 6 minutes. The tag match was 14 minutes, by the way. Beth Phoenix defeats Eva Marie for the Divas Championship. Sheamus defeats Christian in a singles match in 10 minutes. The Miz and R-Truth defeats CM Punk and Triple H in a tag match, 16 minutes. Randy Orton defeats Cody Rhodes, probably for the IC title. Oh, no, it doesn't say that. Mark Henry versus The Big Show. No contest. This is when the ring breaks.
Oh, wow.
They do the suplex and explode the ring.
Yeah.
And then Alberto Del Rio with Ricardo Rodriguez defeated John Cena, last man standing match for the WWE Championship in 30 minutes. Now, I don't remember. Did they fix the ring? Did they wrestle with a broken ring? Like,
I have no memory of that.
What did they do?
I don't know.
All right. And then, so this is worth talking about. On Raw, you do not have a match, but you have a big segment. Frank Irwin Center, Austin, Texas, 3.3 rating, monster rating. After his partner Zack Ryder was taken out by the Awesome Truth, John Cena was forced to fight the pair alone. So they announced it early in the show. Zack Ryder and John Cena versus The Miz and R-Truth. You're cutting a promo in the back. They tack you. Bro, stiff shots. Right?
Oh, yeah, but who cares? I mean, that's a live one, baby. That's not a pre-tape.
You're right.
That's a liver.
Got to make it
live
count.
rounds when it's live, baby.
Okay. So what did you think of this? I mean, it's pretty neat. They have the graphic. You got a little segment on Raw. But
yeah, and I show the whole thing on the YouTube show. It's great. Things are progressing. I'm now on Raw. My name is even in the same sentence as John Cena on television. Like our faces next to each other on the graphic. So things are working, but I'm not there yet. But things are definitely working. And there's no denying things are working. I'm gaining that confidence that things are working. So I'm standing my ground a little more when it comes to like some behind the scene, like I don't want to say behind the scene like storyline stuff, but behind the scene switch over to the YouTube channel stuff, which is all kind of going on behind the scenes now. But I'm not talking about it on the show. I think I had mentioned it earlier on, like, we might be moving.
Yes.
But all the discussions are kind of happening around now, if not very, very soon. But I'm not mentioning it on the show. But I have some confidence and I have ground to stand on.
Right.
When it comes to the YouTube show, not when it comes to my spot in the company.
Now, it's worth noting, this night sets up John Cena taking on Miz and R-Truth with a partner of his choosing at Survivor Series.
Okay.
Now, we all know what happens there, right? So I just think it's interesting that you were part of this angle, sort of, and then John Cena picks The Rock, that the guy he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania, to be his tag team partner. So it's all leading to that.
Sidetrack, I loved this WrestleMania build. It felt so old school to me that you had an entire year knowing what your main event was going to be.
Absolutely.
Whereas now, like, what do you have, like a month or two to know your WrestleMania main event? If that, you knew it's going to be Cena It's going to be Rock. And, they didn't build it every single week, but it was in the back of your mind. And every couple of weeks, they'd come back to it and remind you. I thought it was perfect.
Absolutely. So the next night, you don't do anything on SmackDown. You might be in the background of something, but you did take part in a 41-man battle royal. That was a dark match after the show. It's so weird. They have a regular show in Houston, Texas, and then after, John Cena defeats Alberto Del Rio in a World Heavyweight Championship match in like 30 minutes, and then John Cena and the Big Show defeat Alberto Del Rio and Mark Henry in a dark match, and that is also after that 41-man battle royal. So crazy stuff going on in dark matches at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. Okay, that's what's going on in the world of professional wrestling 10 years ago today, but also episode 37 of Z True Long Island Story. You are back home, and you have
Back home.
the scarf and the hood thing.
I have, well, it's one piece. It's a hooded scarf.
Yeah.
I am product placement, boys.
Yeah.
I'm starting the show with that hooded scarf, trying to get it over. Doesn't quite get over. I mean, come on. It's a hooded scarf. And they didn't just make one of me. They made it of other people as well.
Yeah.
But like The Miz wasn't wearing his. John Cena wasn't wearing his. My character at that time, like super fanboy, it's great to wear your own thing to try to sell it. Like that's part of the gimmick. It's part of the charm.
Yeah.
So get it over. Did that. The Broski of the Week was a little kid wearing the merch, and that's what the Broski of the Week's all about. Not listen, I love the well edited videos and stuff like that, but it's all about the kids and a kid wearing the merch and doing the woo, it. So that's a given. When
Super
I see something
cute,
like that, yeah definitely Broski of the Week. We get into Vengeance, Ziggler needing help from Swagger, so I use the hashtag Jack Dolph.
Jack Dolph.
If you read it quickly, you gotta,
I wonder. Yeah,
Jack
I wonder
Dolph.
if that took off on Twitter.
I don't know if it did.
So I'm searching the hashtag Jack Dolph. Top tweet: Heel Ziggler needed real Jack Swagger's help to pin me at Vengeance. I wonder if he thanked him after hashtag Jack Dolph. Yeah, there's a lot of tweets. A lot of people use Jack Dolph, so there you go.
Jack Dolph.
Through to 2013, people are still using it.
Really? Wow.
A lot of 2012, 2013. All right.
The sign of the week was like a Broski R Us sign. I had to pick that. TRU inspired. Come on.
Loved it.
Come on. Even though I wasn't really into collecting figures at the time,
You were still nostalgic.
I was still a big figure guy. Yeah. Then we talked about
I have a big
the
question
power
about
bomb.
this.
Okay.
So Big O powerbombed someone hard in a ring, some sort of segment.
Right.
Do you know who that was?
I don't. But I think the setup is I stress that everyone's talking about the power bomb. There's replay after replay after replay. I think I'm trying to like not make fun, but I think they showed like a Kevin Nash power bomb in Punk or like Triple H, like over and over and over and over and over.
Yes.
Like and over and over and over and over and over. So like you think I'm gonna throw to that, but I throw the Big O doing a power bomb of his own.
Oh,
I think that's what happened.
That makes total sense. So
Yeah.
this is, I didn't mention that. I wrote that down, but I forgot to mention it. This is the time that Kevin Nash is feuding with Triple H.
Okay.
Which,
So that's definitely what it was then.
yeah, which was like a big to-do in the internet wrestling community who wanted CM Punk versus Triple H and things like that instead of Kevin Nash versus Triple H at the time. I was
Hey,
a
listen,
fan of
I love Big Kev.
Me too.
I love when he came back at this time. It hasn't happened yet, so I guess November we go overseas and Big Kev comes, and I get to work Big Kev in like 6-man tags. He drinking red wine after the shows, listening to stories. I think there's one time on that tour we're getting like sushi somewhere at a hotel, and we're all drinking red wine. And this is like, okay, nowadays, I don't want to say the word like mark out, but like it's acceptable if like you're in WWE and Kevin Nash comes backstage, you take out your cell phone, take a picture with him. You couldn't do that 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
No way. Like now, like Johnny Gargano's like dressing up as like Shawn Michaels. You couldn't do that. Like they'd like kick you out of the locker room, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But we were drinking, having fun with Big Kev, and at the end of the night, Brian Myers was there, and he asked Big Kev for the too sweet. And I was like, "You Mark," but so cool, so cool. And
I'm
he did
glad
it.
we're
He gave
past
him the
that.
too sweet.
Yeah, I love that.
He gave him the too sweet.
All right, so then you talk about we talked about it already. You were supposed to be in the main event. You get jumped. You show it all.
Right.
You do the "Are you serious, bro?" tweet of the week, and it is Chia Pet has a date with a hottie like at Bananda. Are you serious, bro? Who's Banana?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Right. Chia Pet is still going strong today, finding a date in Disney World.
Chia Pet is he told me, I talked to him yesterday on the phone. He's got a personal trainer at the gym. He's got my brother writing him a meal plan. He's ready for that comeback.
I love it.
We might see a True Long Island Story podcast about his comeback.
I love it. I'm in. All right, we get a Ziggler promo. Phenomenal. He says it's over. He's never giving you a shot again. He's bigger than all of this. He's hotter than the A-list. #heel.
He does the look away. But before that, we said the masked man didn't reveal himself. He was supposed to reveal himself. That was the big hype
Yes.
for this episode. The masked man who laid out Chia Pet in the apartment, left him bloody, would reveal himself, and he hasn't yet. And we all think it's Ziggler, and Ziggler hacks in and just kind of cuts a heel Ziggler promo.
Yep. Now you mentioned the costume contest again. And then you segue into saying, actually, speaking of Halloween, I think my house is haunted. And this sends you into one hell of a Ghostbusters montage. This has absolutely everything. You're dressed up in a great Ghostbuster costume. You have the gear. You're catching ghosts. You edit the stream. Like, what is happening here? This is phenomenal.
I had to outsource that. I couldn't figure that out. Actually, Chia Pet's cousin, Ricky, was able to edit that. First of all, I wish I would have known about thumbnails back then, because this would have clearly been the thumbnail, like me busting ghosts, not just me standing against my dining room wall. But yeah, it was like I used everything I could. I used the Matty Collector props. I had the costume. I had my friend Anthony LaRocca, your new best friend, dressed up as the Marshmallow Man. The marshmallows exploded all over me. I just put the shaving cream all over me.
That was shaving cream?
That was shaving cream that I ate.
And then you licked it.
I licked it. We had a Slimer doll like hanging from like fishing wires. Looked like it was floating. I mean, it was the bare bones edit job, but it worked. It worked for the show.
It was great.
It was a lot of fun.
It was perfect. Yeah.
And I got away with using the Ghostbusters song somehow.
Well,
which is wild.
I mean, nowadays they just let you play the song, but you can't make money off of it. So since you weren't making money off of it, like, it didn't matter.
Right.
The good news is WWE can't make money off of that episode either.
Oh, well.
The money for
that was really fun. Yeah.
Goes to the Ghostbuster people.
Yeah, I mean, I love Ghostbusters, and it was a way to incorporate my fandom into the show. And, you know, like I said, when I first started this, I wanted this show to show other sides of me. So at that time, February 2011, people just know me as like the guy who loses on Raw. Unless you were like following my social media, which was very minimal at the time. It was the infancy of social media. So to show other sides of me, or show that, hey, this guy likes Ghostbusters or Star Wars or whatever, and maybe that is what drew you to me, you know?
100%.
So that was very, very important to me. And I thought it was a little entertaining little skit. And it's probably like a minute. It probably took me hours to do. And then, you know, because there's so much that went into it. And then I don't know why I threw that Matty Collector plug at the end, because I don't recall them giving me anything for free.
Well, maybe you were trying to get some free stuff.
Yeah, so maybe either they gave me something for free, or I was trying to get some free stuff. One or the other. Matty Collector was a special website that Mattel used, and it didn't take off. It actually failed miserably. And it was like, because I think it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Where adult collectors would go there and buy exclusive figures, stuff like that. That's where all the Ghostbuster figures at the time, that's the only place you can get them, was Matty Collector. They weren't like at Toys R Us or Walmart or Target. Yeah. And we've talked about it before on the Major Wrestling Fair podcast. One of my biggest regrets in life, it's ridiculous to say, I'm kind of joking, but kind of not, is that they were going to do some sort of crowd-funded Ecto-1 for the figures, and I didn't back it, and then it didn't get backed. And not because one person didn't back it, but a lot of people like me didn't back it, and now even to this day, we don't have an Ecto 1 for 6-inch Ghostbuster figures, whether it be for Hasbro, Mattel, Diamond Select. There is no Ecto 1 for those figures, which is crazy to me.
Exactly. I totally agree. Now, I wanted to mention with the Ghostbusters thing, nowadays, I feel like you're synonymous with Ghostbusters. Like Matt Cardona, Ghostbusters, it's just a thing. Everyone knows this. Back then, not so much. I mean, you alluded, I think, a few times, maybe made a joke so far. You tweeted about it a few times or whatever. But this is pretty... this is a big step. You're telling everybody you got the costume, you got the toys, you got the pieces.
And now, that's right. And 10 years later, I wore Ghostbuster-inspired gear at Impact Battle for Glory, one-time wear gear, and I was very careful that there is no Ghostbuster intellectual property on it. So maybe I can make an action figure with this because there's no like no Ghost logo. There's no anything. It doesn't say Ghostbusters. You know, you can't copyright green slime. You know, you can't copyright the colors. You know, it's inspired. It's inspired. So
just some
who knows?
stuff. Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a Ghostbuster Matt Cardona figure finally because there's never been one. This is like what I've been trying for years. So I don't know if we can put up the picture now, but there was a Mattel Ghostbuster figure that was supposed to come out. So this is when Mattel was making WWE and Ghostbuster stuff. So I had some gear made. I think I tweeted about it. It's probably the next year I tweet about it. So 2012. I tweet about it. And Bill McKenna, who is the head designer at Mattel, he contacts me and said, hey, wear this on TV and we'll make a figure. So I'm like, oh, man. So I guess it's like the Halloween episode. So it must be like exactly a year later from this episode. I wear it. Now, there is like some Ghostbuster IP on it, but like it's all like Zack Rydered up, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I wear the gear. I get through the gorilla. Triple H is not happy, explaining that we're going to get sued and all this stuff. And like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, well, what about like Kofi and Rey Mysterio? But I don't say that. You know, I just ate it. I take it, whatever. Long story short, that figure never comes out.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of that or because of whatever, but I do have the prototype. So it did make it to the prototype stage.
Wow.
So I have that. And then like years after that, I started wearing some more Ghostbuster inspired gear, but you had to really watch Ghostbusters to know. Kind of, I mean, there was some slime and stuff on it, but like the other one, the one we just mentioned, like Scream Ghostbusters, this one, not so much. And it was supposed to be a Mattel basic figure, but then we got released, so it never came out. So I'm hoping that this one that I wore at Bound for Glory, I'm hoping whether it be Super 7 or Zombie Sailor or whatever, I can make it happen. Maybe Major Bendy's, who knows?
That'd be great.
Yeah. Third time's a charm.
And the last thing with the Ghostbuster stuff, I've always said, we talk about it in the wrestling. You just mentioned in the wrestling world, 10 years ago, you couldn't Too Sweet Kevin Nash. Now you can.
Right.
10 years ago, it wasn't as cool to walk outside in a Ghostbuster costume. It wasn't as cool to go to the store and buy Ghostbuster figures. 10 years later, it sort of is. So I think that there's a lot of YouTube watchers 10 years ago watching you, this cool guy on TV, dress up like a Ghostbuster and being like, that's my guy, because he's doing exactly what I want to do. I think that was a huge part of the appeal.
I agree, for sure.
Okay, so you end the show like normal, but then it cuts to Scott Stanford at the end.
Well, before that, we had Cena in there. We had Cena plugging me again on Raw, and I inserted it in.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, then we get a little hack. It appears to be Ziggler. He's going to take off the mask and reveal himself. But it's Scott Stanford, that son of a bitch.
It was him all along?
It was him all along.
Without spoilers, it was him attacking people?
Scott Stanford attacked Chia Pet. Can you believe it?
I can't
My
believe
broski Scott Stanford turned his back on the Zack Pack.
Do you remember the response to this?
Online?
Yeah, was it like, oh no, or was it like, I thought it was Ziggler?
No. The response that I do remember is that Stanford didn't want to be the heel and didn't like the negative tweets.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see.
Some Some people don't want to be a heel. I get it. Even heels want to be liked. Not me. I'm the deathmatch king. Boo me, baby.
Yes.
I don't want to be liked.
Yes.
I want my real fans to like me, but not the GCW universe and all those marks. They can hate me all they want.
Yep.
Please.
All right. Well, that ends the show. Great episode. The montage is an all-timer. So before we finish out everything, let's go to a commercial and hear a little word from our sponsors. All right, what's the Are You Serious Bro this week?
Are you serious, bro? Are you serious, bro? All you gotta do is tweet me something. Use the hashtag Are You Serious, bro? If I read it on air, you will get an 8x10. This one comes from @JohnnyCisco52. Now, this is in regards to, I know he was at Live 10. I just heard @Zombilly Horror say hashtag Are You Serious, bro? In real life to his wife. But he was right to do so because she is cheering for @Myers Wrestling over @The Matt Cardona. Wow. Hashtag Are You Serious, bro? Yeah, I don't understand why she would do that.
It was nice to meet
Are you
everybody.
serious, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great to meet everybody. And Billy Peck, Zombilly Horror, he's a part of the MWO, and they kind of ran the after party at Live 10, and it was a lot of fun. And we thank them for that. And the community we built over at the Major Wrestling Fair podcast is great. And if you haven't checked out any of our live shows, there's nowhere to watch them unless you're a Patreon member. But we have an 11th one coming to Orlando, Florida in January. If you want to make the trip down to Florida, it'll be a lot of fun. Orlando, baby.
Maybe since Chia Pet lives in Orlando now, he'll be there.
He does not live in Orlando. He does not live in Orlando.
Yeah, actually, and I'll say this: if you're an MC, True Long Island Story podcast listener, and you don't listen to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, next week may be a good time to jump in. We're changing the format slightly to make it a little bit better, a little bit easier for newcomers to jump in. So if you're worried about the 3 years of inside jokes or whatever, the 167 episodes that we've recorded prior to that, next week would be a good time to jump in if you are new to that group. Okay, Know Your Bro. Use the hashtag Know Your Bro on Twitter and ask a question, and I'll answer it, and Matt will send you an 8x10. Matty C @MeanStreakMatt says, did you ever consider doing a top rope Rough Rider on an extremely tall opponent or off a Doomsday device setup like you use to do with the Hype Bros? Hashtag Know Your Bro.
I think we talked about it here before. The top rope Rough Rider is just like a weird. I mean, no one's that tall where I could jump.
I imagine the
into
Big
it.
Show,
Yeah.
you could maybe do it.
Yeah, and
Big
I would
base,
never
he
do a
catches
Doomsday.
Yeah.
The Doomsday, no way. Even like the Hype Rider that Mojo and I did, like that would hurt as a bump because I'd have to jump really, really high into that was a high fall.
Yes.
And this week at Impact at Bound for Glory, I don't know if you saw it, but I went for like my second rope Rough Rider Radio Silence on Moose, and he ducked out of the way, and I crashed and burned, and my ass is killing me.
Oh, yeah. I definitely saw that.
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
imagine doing that off the top rope.
Oof.
No way, Jose.
Yeah.
No way, Jose.
Okay. All right, this week, no new characters debuted, but Big O, Ziggler, and Stanford are back. 231,990 views. It's 6 minutes and 45 seconds. It's got that beautiful Ghostbusters edit. And that'll do it for episode 37. ProWrestlingTees.com/MajorWFPod for shirts for this show. I am wearing the Major Pod Live 10 shirt. You can get it's an awesome, WrestleMania 10 sort of inspired logo. I love it. Also, ProWrestlingTees.com/Matt Cardona, ProWrestlingTees.com/SmartMarkSterling for our shirts. I just added, I think, like 6 or 7 brand new
Cha-ching, baby.
designs up on my store. So check it out. There's some really cool Mandalorian inspired, Jurassic Park inspired shirts, but also there's the brand new Come Again shirt.
Oh my
if you're an
God!
FWF fan.
Stop it.
All right, what do you got to plug, bud?
Well, on our patreon.com/MajorWPod, Mark and I, we kind of compete against each other. We rebook the Attitude Era with figures. Check that out. You can get this Live 10 hat over at MajorPodMerch.com. And I don't know, by the time this podcast finally ends, if we'll get to the true, Facebook for myself, and we'll finally figure it out. But for now, like me on Facebook. I'll just say it. Don't like me because I don't even have a real page. Like me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Buy all the merch. Listen to this podcast. Subscribe. Go back and watch all the other episodes. Tell your friends about it. Drink a major PBR. That's the most important part, guys. Drink a major PBR. Take care. Spike your hair.